Okay, so now I want to talk about dividing decimals with no remainder. So when we're dividing decimals, we can't have a remainder because the number that we're dividing is already smaller than 1. Remember, that decimal point means we're in a number that's not a whole number, like tenths or hundredths or thousandths. So we have to just do a little bit extra work when we're dividing decimals to have no remainder. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, again, is ignore the decimal point. And then we're going to step 2. Number 2, we're going to divide. So let's look at this problem right here once I get it. So we're going to do 2 divided by 1.7. So if I ignore this decimal point and pretend it's not there, I'm doing 2 divided by 17. 2 goes into 17 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. If I subtract, I have 1. And technically, I would be done by now if I wasn't doing decimals, and I would have to just put remainder 1, but we can't have remainders. So if there is a remainder, we need to keep going. So we're going to add a 0 to my problem. Until I have no remainder. Okay, so I have to add a 0. So I'm going to add a 0 to my problem. And then I got to bring down. And then I have 2 into 10, which is 5. And then I can bring my decimal point straight up. Okay. I just erase. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's do 4 divided by 2.6. Again, I'm going to ignore the decimal point, so I'm really doing 4 divided by 26. So I'm going to divide. 4 goes into 26 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. 26 minus 24 is 2. And again, if I have a remainder, I have to add a 0 to my problem until I have no remainder. I have to have a 0, bring that down, and then 4 into 20 is 5. And I have a 0 and bring this straight up. Sorry for the sloppy writing. Okay. Sometimes when I'm doing my problem, I'm going to erase my step 4 for a second here because I'm going to add on to it. Is even if I can also do this with a regular number and not have a remainder. I just have to make it a decimal. So I'm going to add a step 3. Sorry. A step 3. My pencil would work. A 3.1, step 1, 3.1 is if there's no decimal, I'm going to add it to the end of the number. So right now I'm going to add it to the end of my number. So 4 goes into 17 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. And now I'm just going to add my zeros. Now the reason why I can add a 0 here is I'm not changing my number from 17 to 170 by adding a 0. That would change my number completely. If I add a 0 after my decimal point, it still says 17.0. Or like I have $17 and 0. Oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted. $17.00. So that's why I have to add the decimal point because I'm not changing my number here. So 17.0 is the same thing as 17. And then I would bring it down. And then 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. And I'm still coming up with the remainder, so I have to add another 0. Bring that 0 down. And then 4 goes into 25 times. So I can keep, I only have to, I can add 20 zeros if I wanted to. And then I bring my decimal point straight up into my problem and put on my answer. And I will write that back on step 4. Bring decimal straight up to answer. All right, so let's try that again.